Hello there. Welcome back to both the I Am Changing podcast and the final newsletter for 2025 seasons. Greetings to everyone everywhere. Final episode 21, 2025. This is a 9 year. It's all about transformation and cycles completing. And it's also the Chinese year of the shedding snake. Boy, oh boy, has this packed a punch. This year, I don't know about you, but for me, this has felt like washing machine energy. And it's brought about tremendous opportunities to feel the big highs as well as the deepest of lows. This isn't a bad thing. When we're in high and low, we get to consciously decide what's the equilibrium? Where's the balance? And what do I need to do to remain grounded as life takes me on the roller coaster ride? And with the recent Bondi Beach massacre, I'm left speechless regarding where Australian society and politics is heading. And since COVID, I've really witnessed a change in our culture and where people have stopped saying Merry Christmas or they grind it out as an obligation. And we're losing our faith and our capacity to love each other as people. And I'm finding that really sad. I know for me, my family this year, this has been one of very big physical dramas. Every member of my family, we've all been in hospital. We've punched the drama ticket. It's been traumatic at times. Mr. Karen, he's had a cyst on his kidney and they drained nearly a litre of fluid. His lung is, I'm happy to report, his lung is now reinflating. He can breathe again. The pain is gone. Praise Goddess. My daughter's asthma steered her into the ED for some treatment. And luckily, she just needed to touch base, get some medicine, and she was sent on her way. And as you know, if you've been following me, I've had a pericarditis experience this year. And there's a couple of things that made this really super intense. I spent some time in our local regional hospital, and then I was rushed to Melbourne for surgical intervention because I was showing signs of heart taponiade, which is a heart attack from too much fluid creating pressure on my heart. But that wasn't the worst bit. And this is something that I've not shared with my audience. And it's a contributing factor to why I've really gone to ground and just done me on this one. The worst part for me of having pericarditis, and I've gifted myself a lot of time and space to process everything about what that was. The medical teams presumed that my pericarditis experience was a cancer recurrence. And I know that's a lot. It was a lot for me. That news threw myself and my family for an absolute loop. And it didn't just punch a hole in my drama ticket, it burnt it and shredded it. And it wasn't great. And I'll be honest, that news had a massive impact and reactivated all of the feels associated with a cancer experience, but only for a moment. And it's gifted me the opportunity to reflect on the last 5 years, 6 years nearly, and where that's taken me. I've used the tools, and I joked last time that I'll rewind. I had a couple of conversations with the medical team in Melbourne, and I joked and said, well, I'm not entertaining it's a cancer recurrence because last time Jesus come and had a conversation with me, and this time he's not been around. So I'm going to trust my intuitive voice and know that it's not cancer. And bless them, they said, well, Karen, that's our job to go look for it. So you do you, boo. I'll do me. And praise Goddess, I'm still all clear. What that taught me was my intuitive voice is still bang on. And I'm finding, or I have found myself returning to the mindset in a whole new profound way that really every day is a gift. And I ask myself each and every day how I'm going to make the most of today. I'm finding myself making less future plans and being locked into the have tos, and very much flowing with where opportunities to have fun, deepen into peace, connect with friends. That is my priority. And where I can share that sensation with you to motivate you, my beautiful audience, to find your peace, to experience joy, that's my motivator. And so I'm finding myself, especially now that I'm not on social media for a bit, this is a really quiet, peaceful place I've landed in, especially with so much external noise. And this week has been no exception with the Bondi shootings. And so this is yet another reason I've taken a massive break from social media, because I don't think anyone really knows what the truth is anymore with what's being seen. And if you have an opinion, you'll be able to find something that supports that on social media. And I'm finding it's quite a perverse, hypnotic energy in the algorithm. And the way certain people scroll, it's completely addictive, and it's quite a perverse energy. For me, this is very personal. Everything online feels loud and dramatic and argumentative. And right now, that negative influences my energy. I'm over drama. I'm over noise in my life. And so the things that have happened to myself and my family this year on a physical level, it's kind of like it's given me permission to just step back and recognize, just do me. And when I'm ready, I'll share stories and I'll share wisdom and share coaching tips. But I haven't felt inclined to step into the abyss of that energy, because it has no bottom for me. And when I go in, I feel like I'm Alice falling down a rabbit hole. And what the surgery that I had to have, the pericardial window, I'm now finding the joy of that surgery was I'm leaning deeper into what I need. Surgery recovery has gone really, really well, and I've used all of the tools. And it took all of the tools for that healing. And so it's also emphasized a curiosity. My body is deep within the throes of menopause now. And thanks to chemo, I'm still challenged with some significant side effects that, with the addition of menopause, they can be tricky to manage from time to time. And it's not something I like to talk about or share, because I don't want to do the poor me, woe is me. This is what I'm dealing with, and this is what today brings, and this is how I'll respond today, not poor me, look at me. And so I'm reconciling that these ailments, they are with me and remind me I'm alive and I'm still here. And I'm using the tools to manage those changes in my body. And if you see me shuffling down the street looking like an 80-year-old, come and share a laugh with me, and perhaps take some inspiration that, I've chosen to go out. I've chosen to move despite whatever signals or sensations my body is experiencing. And so after this year and having pericarditis, I liken myself to an elephant. My memory and my ass are both large, and I now can prove I'm hard to kill. My doctor doesn't like me calling myself that, but that's okay. And so when we talk about menopause, I had the most profound kinesiology balance with a colleague the other day, the lovely Beck, and she reminded me that menopause is the unwinding of puberty. So when we think about that word menstruation, pausing. And so for most young girls, when they first get their period and traverse the landscape of cycles and hormones and emotions, the ups and downs that life brings, that can be traumatic. And our relationships with our parents change because they're fluctuating too. So my menopause experience is revisiting where I can now parent that inner teen version of myself to a place of peace. And I'm also in a space where my baby girl has grown and she's about to leave home, and cue the tears, and I'm going to be brave. I was watching an Instagram reel the other day, and I was absolutely gut punched by a story of how women don't consciously make time or space to say goodbye to the various stages of their children. And then we get stuck treating our adult kids like they're still young because we haven't grieved the baby and the infant and the young child and the evolving child. And so this year, the year of the shedding snake, has gifted me the opportunity to grieve my baby and love her deeply whilst I'm letting go of the baby and the young child, and to embrace my memories of my daughter while she was young, and then release that little girl to the wilds of my heart to be held, in order to create space in my everyday mind to welcome and fair young the adult who is preparing to leave for university. And so when I talk about the year, this is a 9 year of transformation. It's been big. Praise, sweet goddess. This has been, for me, I don't know about you, this has been an enormous season of growth and delicious awareness. This has been a year the universe has said, if you can survive this year, this is all about survival. It's letting go of what you've been doing for the last 9 years, or cycles of 9 years, and shedding it, acknowledging it, releasing it, deleting it, letting it go. And so it leads us naturally into this unveiling of the liminal, that void where space and time don't exist. And what I'm discovering is that the liminal is magical. And it's magical if you allow it, if you access or allow your intuition to guide you to feel your way through this liminal space. You get to access all of your matriarchal energy and wisdom, and that has been amazing. And so with all of that on the table, I find myself once again focused much more deeply from a space of gratitude, what I do have, and be able to relish that deeply and fully. Why? Because gratitude brings me a natural dopamine hit. I don't get the dopamine now from the scrolling. I get the dopamine from moving my body, from smiling with people, from hugs and exchanges of laughter. And that is far easier to maintain than seeking the dopamine from the scroll. And so just detaching and going from the external world and being grateful to go within, you are your own natural medicine. You have all that you need to succeed and thrive in this world if you can offload some garbage. So let's get back to the theme of today's message, back to balls, and are they hanging? Because my balls are not hanging on the Christmas tree yet. And for all those dirty birdies who are thinking about me and my balls, shame, shame, shame. So in this political landscape, I've adopted the phrase, merry everything, happiness everywhere. It's non-denominational. It's not centered in culture other than the culture of love. It's meaningful. Given the load of family and domestic violence that I'm holding space for in clinic, I'm regularly working with clients who are so traumatized and stuck in their stuff that they've forgotten, or perhaps in some cases never experienced, the sensation of merry and happy. And sit with that for a minute. Imagine living a life where you've not experienced merry or happiness. That's pretty big. So let that marinate for a minute. This is meant to be a season of merriment, not financially paralyzing yourself. It's meant to be a season of socialization. And what happened to seeing friends throughout the year? You've got the entire summer season to catch up with your mates. You don't have to drink yourself into oblivion at the work party just because the grog is free. And I'll tell you why people do that. People, I'm seeing them down the street, and I'm hearing the stories when I run group work, when I run clinical practice. People are feeling cooked. They're saying to me, they're using that language, I'm feeling cooked right now. They're overworked, and not just at this time of the year, but there's something about the miracle of December where you've got to perform 3 weeks worth of work, 5 weeks worth of work in 3 weeks. And it's completely unrealistic. And so I wonder, if you're a boss or a leader, despite the deadlines, could you express to your staff, to your team, merry everything and happiness everywhere, to boost culture, to boost morale within your workplace? How might you say, thank you to your staff for showing up during the year? And what might that feel like to hear your boss say thank you and mean it? And sit with that. Are you saying thank you enough? Are you saying please enough at this time of the year, especially to our retail staff? And I think the societal expectation for children and parents to have everything perfect or resolve family shit at this time of the year is, frankly, it's dangerous. Some people should not socialize within the family home. You should definitely not add alcohol to some social gatherings where there is already agitation existing. And if you feel the need that you must gather and go somewhere, do it somewhere public, not in someone's home where the power of that person, the homeowner resides. Go somewhere public where everyone has to socially behave, otherwise you get yourself arrested, and keep the conversation light and fluffy. I saw a lovely quote the other day that talked about, remember this, you can forgive, but that is not an entitlement to accept ongoing bad behavior. So I know for some have different, we've all got different opinions. We've all got different values, different beliefs. So conversations at this time of the year, especially with alcohol on board, treat carefully. If you know someone has what some people term conspiracy theory based beliefs, ask them about the weather, or perhaps ask them what's made them happy lately, rather than have you seen the chemtrails? Have you been jabbed? All of these topics that we know are going to incite emotion, shelf them. They're not for Christmas. That's not what brings you merry or joy. Shelf it. Don't sit next to them if you know they're going to trigger you. In fact, that negative influencing, perhaps you need to ask yourself whether or not you even go to the event. I want to invite people to ask yourself, is it time to ask yourself, who are you actually trying to please? And if the thought of attending an event or reconnecting with a trigger person induces anxiety, then I have to ask, is it worth it? Is the anxiety and all of these sensations that you feel, is it worth it? Or do you need to do you and perhaps your partner, you negotiate, put some conditions on how you do the drop-in or the catch-up? We're here for 2 hours. We're squeezing you in. How is everyone? Merry Christmas. Let's have a meal. Okay, gotta go. Lovely to see you. Let's take a photo, capture the memory of being light and fluffy and smiling, and then go on your merry way. And the other thing I want you to think about is, people, it's time to model to your children how to adult, how to agree and disagree with those that you clash with, perhaps to choose when to debate or not to debate to a death in order to force the other person's to adopt your opinion or to fight against their opinion. That's not time for Christmas. Christmas is about being merry and joyous. And if you feel the need to debate, shut that shit down, because small people are watching and listening, and they're looking at your body language. They're learning and mapping and programming how to do family dynamics. So I want to invite you, when might you become willing to learn to love, or perhaps step back and ask yourself, what can you reconcile to start liking each other again, even if it's just for that meal or that cup of coffee or cake or whatever? And what might that teach your kids about in life? And if you've got grandkids that you have not been able to see for a bit, can I please implore that you don't hold on to those gifts that you've lovingly bought as ransom? Send those gifts with a love letter. Be the adult. Lead the way to resolution with your children. Lead the way with open communication. And if you can't, don't buy the gifts that then sit around and remind you that you're not seeing children that you love and can't access at this point in time. You're only going to mess up with your own head. Don't demand access to kids, because they're not yours. They're your grandchildren. You don't have the right unless you're invited. And that's a whole bunch of other therapeutic conversations we potentially need to talk about. But if you can't resolve those relationships before Christmas, can I implore perhaps it's time for some family therapy where everyone gets to have their say of what it is that's pushing all of their buttons so that you can move forward in the new year. So here's my tips for wrapping up the year and finding time to hang your balls on the tree with peace. Because I don't know about you, I've been too busy to put up a tree this year. I've been holding space for others and then self-caring for myself, and the tree has not been a priority. So I want to invite you, what do you need to prioritize your time and energy so that you don't feel cooked at the end of the day? That's tip number one. Tip number two, remember to breathe. I don't know about you, but sometimes when you got all the feels going, your nervous system will respond to, like, I know I get anxious just going down the plaza and hearing all the kids screaming that they're being forced to have their Santa photo. Don't even get me started about that. So invest a couple of minutes, park the car, breathe, get yourself centered, do your self-care, and get in and do what you have to do, and then get out again, and perhaps pick your time when you go. I'm doing most of my grocery shopping now either at the crack of dawn or at night when all of the kids are not there and not distressed or cooked because it's too much. Kids are like little energy magnets and radars. They're picking up on everyone's grinchy feelings and they're letting you know all about it. Do you get the signal? Start everything a little earlier. This is tip number 3. So we're a week out till Christmas. And this is the first year my child is saying, Mum, I want to cook Christmas this year. I'm like, okay, let's start with plan the menu. And then we plan out what to shop and what shops we need to go to. And where can we click and collect? Because she likes things, she's a little neurospicy. So we map out all of the steps. And so already we've got 3 click and collects organised. We've got the rest of the have to get fresh on the morning of. We've delegated who's doing what. And just that little bit of planning, we're having a trial run of something that she's going to cook for the first time ever. Well, we're doing that early next week. So she's got all week to go, I'm either not doing that or I'm going to have another crack. But when we start planning, we then can allocate what we'll do on each day, and you tick things off rather than having to do it all on Christmas Eve when you're already tired and fatigued. Tip number 4, set yourself realistic expectations. Give yourself permission that nothing needs to be perfect. It just needs to be enjoyable. And if nothing else, perhaps your mantra for this festive season is merry everywhere. You know, I'm wishing everyone merriment. May you find joy and happiness everywhere. Remind yourself that the true meaning of the season is to spend time with loved ones, not to have the perfect picture home or the perfect meal. Because if you have a garbage meal, you'll be laughing about that for the next 10 years to come. Sometimes the biggest food flops are the most hilarious memories and photos. And my brother will kill me for saying this, but ask him about it, because the last time he hosted Christmas, he set his Weber on fire. His partner got, well, we all got cooked from having to wait 3 or 4 hours for the fire to be put out and restart the meat and the vegetables. But it's the most hilarious story. And so the in-joke now is, have you checked the tray for fat and emptied that and got new stuff in so you don't set the bastard on fire? And he loves the rib. He goes, ho, ho. You know, we just go on and on about it. Tip number 5, it's all about quality, not quantity. Whether it be social gatherings, whether it be gifts, whether it be how much food you have on the table. According to the American Heart Association research, it inexplicably highlights heart attacks are actually more common during the holidays. And let's face it, there's a myriad of possibilities, including unhealthy changes in diets, higher alcohol consumption, less movement, more stress from family interactions, strained finances, travel, entertaining. Honestly, it just adds up. So I've come to learn the importance of the festive season spread out over the entire summer. And that means I don't rush. I go from one event each day on the calendar and I pace myself. I'm catching up with friends in January instead of trying to squeeze it in December. And it's delicious because I spend an entire day with them, not just a meal. And so the connections are quality there with people I value and love. There's this mutual respect that we've carved out time. And that is the gift we give each other. Why would you settle for anything less than that? Tip number 6, it's okay to say no. This is a season that you run as a marathon, and it's vital to continue making time for rest and regeneration. So I know my family work in retail all the way up to the eve of Christmas, like the night of Christmas Eve, and they're back at it again on Boxing Day. So for me, I will be getting up early. I'll be going to park run on Christmas morning. And then by the time I get home, they'll just be getting up. I'm okay with that. Let them sleep. Let them get their deep rest. I'm no longer pressured that we have to be up and we have to do presents. Do you know what? We're all adults now in this household. Let's just pace ourselves. And we negotiate when we're available. We create space for when we make connections with others. We don't dread people showing up who aren't invited to multiple events on the same day, and they're really just coming to visit us to punch a ticket and then on they go again. I don't do that shit anymore. I'm worth more than that. I don't embrace script. This is tip number 7. I think we've all got a family member or a friend who tries to be manipulative at this time of the year in order to get what they want. And I want to invite you to try something different this year. When you respond, no thanks, take a deep breath and smile. Oh, but can you just come here at this certain time of the day? Or can you just, no thanks, and breathe. Because this subconsciously generates endorphins to help you feel good. Don't say anything. You don't have to justify your no thanks. Not one single word. You simply pause at the end of the conversation, breathe slowly, and watch what that person does. Watch for their reaction and know that's their stuff. That's not yours. If your response is not accepted, that's okay. You don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to perform like a circus monkey. The fact is, if you're not free and available, that's the end of the story. You can be cheeky like me and ask for the person's magic time machine so that you can be teleported and be in 2 or 3 places at once. But be warned, this will piss people off. That's still not my stuff. The ideal alternative response is to advise when you are free. And I invite you to do it after Christmas has passed. The world has calmed its farm. And if the caller or the person asking you doesn't settle for that, that's not your bag of monkeys to manage. Continue to breathe and celebrate your decision to maintain your well-being. Learn to negotiate terms. Tip number 8. Managing relationships requires decent skills. And if you're struggling with a dynamic of family at the moment during the festive season, I've seen so many people this year, they've had to escalate to UN hostage negotiation skills and to just figure out whether they're sitting at the table or not. And that's great for people who believe they're golden, who hold grudges, who hold unhealed emotional wounds, who need control or struggle to have their communication needs met. Practice what you want to say in front of the mirror or with your partner. Have a code word. If you're going somewhere for 2 hours, you go, right, remember we've got that thing that we had to go to. We're just popping in. This might be too late for some of you, but learn to take turns. Tip number 9. Sometimes, the pressure of our parents as they age, the handing of the baton. Who says that mum has to do all of the cooking, cleaning, and food prep? Why can't you all take a plate and help her out? Why can't you all pitch in and do the dishes? Why can't someone come and help clean and spritz the house and polish the silver and blah, blah, blah? Like, if your kids have finished school, send them over to nannies to go and help set up. She'll have a ball, make Christmas cookies, and who cares if the table or the house isn't perfect, because it's not about that. Where can you make new traditions with your grandees or with your siblings? Tip number 10 sounds obvious. Stick to a budget. Don't Put yourself, especially in this economy, in a place where you're going to be stressed out, dreading the Visa card letter coming next month. You know, don't put yourself under that pressure. Set a budget for gift giving. And for those who maintain the argument, I just want to give my kids what I didn't have, I want to ask you this. What was actually wrong with your upbringing where you felt you missed out? And more importantly, is buying your kids stuff, is that actually a replacement for the love and affection that you received? Did all of that stuff replace the hugs and the laughter that you get? Tip number 11, this is the bonus one. Simplify everything. One of the best things that I've come to realize is that you do not have to do everything yourself. You can delegate, you can ask for help, you can ask for collaboration. So in my house, tonight we're cracking a drink because today is my last day in clinic. I'm having a drink to celebrate. My daughter will be wrapping up something else, and I'm going to have a drink to celebrate. And I've invited my family to sit down. We're going to get some takeout. It's Friday. We're going to decorate the tree and finally hang my balls up where they belong. I might even make some homemade gingerbread. That's what I do each year, and munch on that. It doesn't matter what your tradition is, where you can make things simple, where you can get some bickies and some dip or some veggie sticks. Where can you honor the simplicity of gratitude and joy and merriment in your year? Now, I know I've been banging on, not apologizing. This is kind of like a really nice way of wrapping up the year. And so I want to wish everyone, let's see what I was saying. I want to wish everyone merriment everywhere, happiness everywhere, merry everything, happiness everywhere. If you're separated from family, I hope the internet is working and you get to Skype and align the time zones. Remember the hugs and the squeezes and the laughter. Take photos. Celebrate the little things of what you do have here in your life, because it's so precious. And remember, as always, you can choose to change and bloom from within. I'm so grateful for all of your support, well wishes, and bookings into clinic this year. I'm reopening on Monday, the 5th of January, doing some work on the website over the break, and probably visiting the beach and reading a lot of books and just chillaxing with my stinky brown Labradors. I hope you find merriment everywhere during the festive season this year, and may you find time to hang your balls in the air too. I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the new year. Enjoy the final releases of The Shedding Snake.